Good evening. My name is Fabian Cruz, and this is We the People. I am taking this as an opportunity for me to get more politically involved because a lot of people like myself have felt disenfranchised, ignored, belittled, and just really not involved with the decisions that a lot of our politicians make on both the federal and local level. And I just wanted to do my part to make a change, to be more involved, to be more aware, and to help others to do likewise. Because according to most recent statistics, there are 100 million American adults who are eligible to vote but don't. I do vote. I have voted since I've been eligible, but it often has felt like it hasn't been enough. And I know that there's a lot of people who either don't vote at all, who are amongst the 100 million who don't vote. But even among those who do, a lot of people still feel that they're choosing the lesser of evils, or that their politicians only make promises that they have no intent to keep. And regardless of how you might feel, I feel it is time for us, all of us, to make politicians and the government do what they said they're supposed to do, to make laws, to change laws, to make policies, and for our government to do for us, the people, that we should have the opportunity to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what our Constitution says. And unfortunately, a lot of us feel that pursuing happiness is impossible, or at the very least difficult, more difficult than it probably should be. And there hasn't been given a lot of opportunity for those who are the working poor or the middle class to feel that the government cares about their needs and about their desires, like healthcare, that's affordable, that's consistent, regardless of where you live, regardless of what you do for work or anything else. I'm just a person, like any of you who might be watching this video, and I work as an electrician. I have a union job that I'm grateful for, because despite whatever issues that they might have, they've provided me with an opportunity to provide for myself and to live life comfortably, relatively. And I appreciate that, but there's a lot of people who don't have that, who have worked and continue to work on suboptimal wages, that they're barely able to provide for themselves or their children. And it shouldn't be that way. Not when a country is as rich as we are. There's more than enough opportunity. There's more than enough money. And it's not to say that people who are wealthy didn't earn it, but that there needs to be a better system that provides for all of us an equal part of our contribution to it, because we all are paying taxes, and we deserve to have a government, a country that is for all of us. And I guess you would say that I'm a progressive, but not necessarily a Democrat. I've been independent for quite a few years now, because while the Democratic Party is the more progressive of the two, having only two options is never really good, because more choices, more competition, as they say in business, often leads to better results. And because it's been a two-party system for so long now that most of us don't know anything else, and I think it's time for that to change. I believe it's time that it needs to change, because it's not working. We have approximately 40 weeks from now until the election. And like pregnancy, this is our opportunity together to birth a new nation, a nation that is truly great, that lives up to the promises of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because we can't guarantee anyone happiness, even ourselves, but we can give ourselves and others the opportunity to make and find happiness for themselves. And in order to do that, we need to have food, we need to have shelter, we need to have good paying jobs, and health care, and child care, and retirement, and all those other benefits that we as a first world nation, as we're called, should have. We have fallen behind our allies. We have fallen behind our peers because there's a lot of things that have led us to a place of rugged individualism. I can't recall the first place I've heard that term, but the truth of the matter is that humans have always been communal. That doesn't mean everybody gets the same thing or has the same thing, but that we all have access and that we all have the opportunity to earn it for those who are willing to work for it. And the wages have not kept up with inflation, and wages have not kept up with productivity, because we as a country are producing now more than ever exponentially due to technology, due to innovations, and due to the hard work of people like us. And we deserve a fair share of that, because those who are making millions, tens of millions, or even billions of dollars, they often haven't gotten there by playing by the rules that is set for all of us. And I'm simply hoping that we can, as they did almost 100 years ago, revamp the rules, be mindful of the technology, the changes that have already occurred, as well as the changes that are going to occur, and to make ourselves more competitive as a nation. Because if we continue down the road that we're currently on, with disinformation, with fear of change, with fear of others, saying that we have to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, this is not sustainable. Because no country, no culture, no people group has ever succeeded on the work of the individual. It's through the communal work, working together in synergy, that allows us to be great. And in order for us to fulfill that promise to ourselves, we have to work together. Whether we are progressive or conservative, moderates, independents, socialists, communists, whatever other term you can think of that you might identify with, if we don't learn to live and work together, we are only dooming ourselves and our country to fail. And for many groups, it's never really worked. There's a lot of those of us who have been disenfranchised, whether it's sexuality or gender or socioeconomics, religion, and so on and so forth. In order for us to succeed, we need to keep everyone in mind. We have to protect everyone. We have to give everyone the opportunity to work, to learn, to grow, and to contribute to our society, because that is when we can truly fulfill our destiny. And unfortunately, there are many groups who have had broken promises. Ourselves, our allies, immigrants who have come far and wide to contribute to our country. And people make it, but the amount of effort that they have to overcome because of fear, because of doubt, because of uncertainty, the barrier has been made too high, much, much too high, and that we're losing some of our best doctors and lawyers and electricians and plumbers and carpenters and cleaners, people of every walk of life, scientists, engineers, business folks. We're losing a lot of great minds due to things outside of children's control, like homelessness and hunger and illness, that we have more than ample opportunity and resources to provide them the opportunity to become whomever they might be. Because the truth of the matter is, everyone deserves a living wage. Everyone deserves a roof over their head and food in their stomachs and peace of mind. Now, we have to create our own peace of mind, but how can we when two-parent households are working 2 and 3 jobs apiece just to provide for themselves and their children? It shouldn't be that way. It hasn't always been that way. We should work together, in that anybody who is willing and able to work full time should be able to provide for themselves and their family off of one income. Now, that's not to say that one person's income, but somebody shouldn't have to work more than 40 hours a week. Because when you're working 60, 80, or more hours a week, how much time are you spending for yourself? How much time are you spending with your family and enjoying what it is that you're working for? It doesn't make any sense. And not everybody can be a business person. Not everybody is an innovator or a scientist or doctor or a lawyer or a nurse. Everybody deserves to make enough to provide for themselves. And there was a time in the New Deal where they agreed. And even though we call it minimum wage, it was a living wage. And that's what we need now. And there are those candidates who are indicating that they want to provide a living wage and universal access to health care and a lot of other benefits that we have really been slow to implement. But the problem is that we're so focused on the current administration and what they've done wrong, which is wrong. But people are afraid to do the right thing because they're so concerned with protecting themselves that, as they say, evil succeeds when the good do nothing. And there's a lot of nothing being done right now. And nobody should ever be in fear to do the right thing. Now, yes, there's always the opportunity for loss. But we have soldiers who come home after protecting those rights and they fall through the cracks at the VA, ending up homeless, untreated, and neglected. Or people who die of illnesses, diseases, and neglect. And it shouldn't be that way for anyone. So we need to do what we need to do. We need to hold ourselves accountable and hold our elected officials accountable as well. So over these next 40 weeks until the election, I am aiming to put out at least bi-weekly videos laying out what I believe is necessary and capable for us to achieve between now and Election Day. Again, my name is Fabian Cruz, and this is for We, the People.